Good morning, welcome back to Columbia Auto Service. Today we have a 2008 Acura TL with a 3.2 in it. It's Wednesday now. This lady had called me Friday on my day off and told me, let me stop that, told me she had went to get an oil change somewhere and they told her she had a bad oil leak, that her front seal was leaking, wanted me to give her a price on her front seal. So I don't know, I'm not at the shop today, I'm closed. So I don't know exactly what you mean by the front seal, the front crank seal, what front seal's leaking. So I told her to bring it in Monday and I'll try to look at it well. When she got here Monday, all the rats were tied up and I've been busy. So she called me again yesterday, which was on a Tuesday. So I promised her first thing this morning, I would get it on the rack and see if I could figure out where her oil leak was and get her some prices. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know if I'll be able to do the repair today on it or not. I've got another one over there, a Ford flatbed truck that's got no tail lights that he's got here. That's his appointment for the day. But anyway, I'm gonna get this Acura and we'll see if we can find some oil leaking on it somewhere. Ain't much visibility from under here. I got that 3.2 packed in this little old Acura. I can't really see the valve cover on this side. I can see it a little bit, I don't see anything. This oil pan's definitely got some oil dripping off a bolt up there, but it don't look like it's coming from around the gasket. Maybe that oil's coming from somewhere else. The oil plug may be leaking. Can't really tell if it's the front crank seal or not. There's a little bit of oil on the pan right there, but I don't think it's coming from that front crank seal. Oh, we got oil dripping off the AC compressor. So that's higher than the oil pan. So we might have to get this back down on the ground and look at our valve cover gaskets, because I sure can't see them from down here. All right, let's get it back down. We got one screw holding the cover down. Oh yeah, we definitely got some leakage right here from this valve cover. All over that exhaust manifold right there. Let me get a mirror and we'll look at that back valve cover. No, that rear valve cover's dry. All the way across it. Okay. But if we do the front one, I'm gonna let her know she probably needs to do the rear too, because if this one's leaking, it won't be long, that one will start leaking. But anyway, we definitely got a valve cover gasket leaking here. And with there being so much oil down there on the oil pan, I can't promise her it's the oil pan leaking. So what I like to do is, with the oil leak, I'll start as high up as I see the oil leaking. If there's nothing really noticeable like an oil pressure sending unit or something down there that's leaking also, I'll just let her know we'll do the valve cover gaskets, and then we'll clean the engine off, and then we'll have to move down on the engine if there's anything else leaking. But the amount of oil coming from this valve cover gasket right here, I believe that's going to take care of her problem. But then, once again, I doubt the intake's got to come off. The intake manifold's got to come off, so we just as well do both of them while we're there. That's definitely gonna have to be a job for a later day because I'm not gonna be able to do it today. But I will let her know about it and see what she wants to do. Today we have a 2006 Ford F350 with a 5.4 liter engine in it. Customer states his dash lights are not working and his tail lights are not working. And he's already replaced this switch and said it didn't fix it. So I'm sure he's already tried both. So it's already been, somebody else has already been working on it. So anyway, now it's our turn. Let's go look and see if we got tail lights. We got headlights. No tail lights at all. All right, well, it's actually the next day here at Columbia Auto Service. I never did get back on this valve cover gasket leak yesterday. I ended up that Ford we had down there with the lights that didn't work. I ended up figuring it out. It was a fuse. It took me a little while to figure out which fuse it was, but I thought I got it and it was a fuse. And then I worked on that Town and Country with the transmission code and a couple of other things. But anyway, I'm gonna get started on this valve cover gasket leak here this morning. And I've got a couple other small little jobs coming in I need to try to get took care of. So this may be a video with several different things in it. But just hold on and we'll get some stuff done today. All right, before we get started on our valve cover gaskets on our Acura, we had this Honda Accord, 04 Honda Accord come in for an oil change. And while I had to do an oil change, I was just checking it over. That steering rack started to leak. You can see the power steering fluid coming out of this boot right here. And also, there is a solenoid up there on the top of these Hondas with the 2.4. And of course, it's leaking. I just washed it off, so there's no oil on it right now. But anyway, everything else on the little Honda looks good. So I'll go ahead and get it down, get some oil put in it. And then that Ford truck out there, he got an appointment for today. He's got no heat. I'm thinking them Fords normally just have heater core stopped up. I don't have time to change a heater core out today. So I'm probably just gonna try to flush it out for him. But it's 75 degrees today. He don't need the heater today. I don't know when the next cold front's gonna come through. But anyway, let me get this Honda down, get some oil put in it, and we'll move on. All right, we got the oil change on the little Honda done. Now we got our Ford 2002 F-150 with the heater not heating up. It's blowing, not cold, but not warm. But you can swap it. So I can feel the difference in temperature. So it's definitely not an actuator or a vacuum control problem. Yeah, we definitely got a heater core stopped up. And these model trucks are notorious for heater core blockages. I don't know why, if it's maybe from cross contamination on antifreeze, because I don't know if you can see it, but that is nasty. Yeah, see that? That's nasty down in there. So anyway, I'm gonna try to, the real fix for it is gonna be to flush this cooling system out and change this heater core, but that's about 2 weeks before I can get to that. I don't know when the next cold front's gonna be. So I'm gonna go ahead and just disconnect this heater hose, disconnect that other heater hose in there, and try to flush it both ways with water and maybe some air through this heater core, see if we can get this heater core cleaned out the best we can like that. And then I'm gonna put it all back together. I'm gonna drain this nasty junk out of this system, fill it back up with some water and some radiator cleaning chemical. We'll let it run a while, then we'll drain that out, and then we'll fill it up with some good antifreeze, and maybe we'll get him some heat. Seems to be warmer. It says let that flush circulate through it for 30 minutes. And I like to run a high idle on it a little bit as I do it, get all the air out of it and flush through it a lot quicker, give it a little more pressure. All right, I got our Ford flushed out, the heater core and the system. And I've run it now for about 30 minutes. Fluid looks a lot better in it now than it did. It was just brown, so since the heater core was stopped up, I figured, well, I need to flush the whole system out, or it's gonna get stopped back up. And it's working better, it's a lot better. It's maybe it'll last for him through the winter until he has time for me to pull the dash and change the heater core out in it. But anyway, got something else to look at. I got that Trailblazer right there is blowing heat all the time, even with it off. But I think I need to go ahead and do my valve cover gaskets next. And then maybe I'll have time this afternoon before I leave for the weekend to look at that. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Look at that. There's another hair. All right, I got both valve covers cleaned up. Spark plug tube seals, new gaskets on them. Sealing surface is cleaned up. I got my intake rags out of my intake ports. I got my intake cleaned up. Now I just gotta give me a new gasket and get that intake manifold put back on there. And hook all these hoses up. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 hoses hooked to that intake manifold. Let's get it done. Valve cover gaskets on the Acura are done. Let me get a floor mat. I see no leaks, no drips. So we're good to go on the Acura. I got one more this afternoon I need to get to. This Trailblazer right here, blowing heat all the times on both sides. Let me get this one test drove and pulled out and we'll get on a Trailblazer. All right, well, I'm gonna call it a day here at Columbia Auto Service. I went out there and checked that 03 Trailblazer that's blowing heat all the time. The blower motor works. You can change the blower settings, high and low, all that works. But you can't change the mode from defrost to vent to floor. You can't change the temperature on neither side. It's got dual temperatures. You can't change temperature on either side. None of the buttons, like for recirculate or rear defog or anything, light up. And when I plug my scan tool into it, I've got no communication with the HVAC module. So I talked to the customer, and she said that it all went out at the same time. It's not like the mode went out and then one temperature went out, another temperature went out. It all went out at the same time. And with me not having any communication, I'm thinking it's the module. But to know for sure, we need to pull that module out, check, make sure we got power, ground, and communication to the module. I've already checked the fuses and they're good. So it's actually a cousin of mine's vehicle, and he's an electrician. He does AC work, HVAC work on houses. So I told you it's late this afternoon. I'm not gonna be able to get to it, pulling that module out and checking all that day. So I'm gonna give him the schematics, let him go home and do his own checks, and he can figure out if that module's bad, and he can go to the junkyard and get him a used module if he needs to. But anyway, that's gonna be all for this video. We appreciate it. Just a random day here at the shop. We'll catch you on the next one. Oh yeah, I appreciate it if you'd leave me a comment down below.